Hello and welcome to another Xterra video where I work on my truck. Sometimes I'm successful, sometimes I'm not. And on today's video I'm gonna be finally redoing all my electrical that I did for all the lights and all the accessories. I'm gonna be redoing all of that, and I got something very exciting for that. So I hope you guys gonna like that. Let me talk first about what was my original plan and everything and what I ended up going with. You can skip ahead, I'm gonna leave the chapters in the description, but I just wanted to point this out. So my original plan was, I was thinking to build a fuse box over here with the relays. I actually got it already some time ago, and I was getting some other parts. I'm gonna put a picture. But as the more I was looking into it, the more I was trying to figure it out. It was kind of getting too bulky over here, and all of this electric over here and all the other wires that I have hidden over here, I really don't like that. It's getting all messy and everything. Now I know that a lot of people, they actually run the wire through the firewall and install that blue C box on the side of glove compartment, but I want to limit the amount of wires going from here through the firewall. So I decided not to go that route, and I started looking into different already made fuse boxes, already made controllers. There are multiple of them you can find on Amazon at pretty decent price, but the more I look at them, the more I learn about them, the more I didn't like them. All until I came across this product, Voswitch panel. It's a control panel with the relays and fuses all inside, all built in. But there is a huge difference between this system and many others online. So let's open it up and let's look what's inside. Over here I have all the hardware. Nice. As you can see, I never opened this before. It's my initial opening. You might say initial reaction. And this is the main part over here. This is what I really wanted and really needed for a long time, to take care of all my wiring mess over here. And for any other future wiring, I don't have to have multiple relays just dangling around. What I was trying to build was something similar, but this is much better. It's more compact and I feel it's more better. So let's open this up first. I really want to see what's inside. And here you go, guys. Right away, this is what I needed. This is what I was trying to build. But unfortunately, I would never be able to do something like this. I feel like there is sometimes when doing stuff yourself, it worth it. But there is sometimes when spending a little money to get a quality product is much better, because that your time might worth more than trying to save a little bit here and there. What I really like about this unit, that it's completely serviceable. If one of these relays goes bad, if one of these fuses go bad, all I have to do is just pop the fuse out and put a new one, and that's it. Whereas many other units online that you can find, I saw many issues that one or two or multiple buttons, they stop working, so they constantly stay in their own positions. You're using functionality of that unit. If let's say you have a 6-switch unit and you down 3 buttons, because you cannot replace the relays in there, they all built in on the board. Unlike this one, you just take it out, put a new one, and off you go. Nice. And as you can see, it already comes with a 30 amp fuses. That's pretty good. That's mostly what any lights are using anyways, but you can replace that for something else. Here on the other side, of course, we have a diagram and the relays over here, and which switch belong to which terminal. And this is also sealed over here, so once you put this on, and actually you can turn this cover around the way you want it, for letters to face whatever way you want it. Now it also comes with some accessories, some nice accessories, depending where you're gonna mount it. It has this RAM mount. In this package it has a lot of double stick tape and more brackets. This, I guess, for a motorcycle, or depending wherever you want to mount it, maybe for an ATV or something. And in this back we actually have more double stick tape. We have some zip ties. We have more hardware. We have our fuse over here to tie in this box into the accessory fuse. We have additional spare 100 amp fuse that's gonna go in there. That's pretty nice. And this is a clear plastic over here, so you can actually see if it's blown or not. And of course we have our manual over here, which shows you everything step by step, how to wire it up and where to connect what. So that's pretty nice. And over here, of course, we have our controller. First of all, this is not plastic, guys. This is made of aluminum. This is some nice stuff. So over here we're gonna have our old buttons, which have a really nice touch to it. some nice feedback. I really like this clicking, so it's gonna let you know that you pressed it or not. It's all modular actually. You can disassemble this, and depending where you're gonna mount it, just route the wire better way. This is our wire. I'm gonna be routed from over here. I'm gonna get rid of most of that wire, gonna go through the firewall, and we're gonna bring it to the front. Once we all install this, I'm gonna go over more about these functions, but right away it has a simple like on and off function, but it also have multiple modes like a strobe mode, a memory mode, and alternating mode. So we're gonna look into that later. I really cannot wait to mount this all. I really wanted to have this for a long time to make something like this. Actually, I contacted this company and they were very nice to provide this unit for me to test it and work with it and to show it to you guys, because I know a lot of people, they for some reason they don't know about this unit and they just buy something cheaper online, and that is very sad, because not only it might break, but it also might catch fire. I've seen a lot of those units catch fire. And on top of that, guys, I'm gonna put a promo code in description, so go check them out, and maybe this is something you guys gonna like it. Just leave a like and subscribe. I think this is the first time I ever asked to leave a like and subscribe. But anyways, you don't have to do it. I'm just kidding. But please be sure to check them out before you make any decision. Like I said, this is all serviceable. This is quality. This feels quality. So I'm gonna leave a link to their website and a promo code in case you guys might need something like that. But enough of me talking. Let's start mounting this. Let's start securing this and get all our wires in place and get rid of all our old wires. But as always, before doing any electrical work, make sure you disconnect the battery. You don't want any accidental shortages or anything. And let's just set it on the side. So the main controller, I'm actually planning to install it somewhere over here, something like this. So right now I'm gonna start getting rid of all old wire, and we're gonna start routing our new wires in place where they're supposed to be. And I'm gonna try to show you guys as best as possible how I did it and what I did it. First, let me start by removing some of these wires and removing all of these fuses and everything from here to clear up some wiring over here, and then I'm gonna start figuring out how I'm gonna mount the box over here. Just look at all this mess of wire that I had hidden over here. Just I was tugging it away, but this is not good. So we're gonna get rid of this and we're gonna install our box here. So now I'm gonna remove all my wires that go into the positive that are feeding my light bar and my lights. I'm only gonna leave my main feed over here. There we go. Now I'm also gonna get rid of all of these switches, because the space over here is limited. Yes, I have more space over there to mount 3 more switches, let's say over there or somewhere else, but not to have like 20 switches. I'm gonna mount this somewhere. More likely I'm even gonna mount it over here, we'll see. And that way I have all 8 switches right there. Very compact, very easy to use. So I'm gonna start removing all of this, getting all these wires out, and I'm gonna get the main feed wire from here, run it along the side over there, and bring it over there. In this wire loom, I had 3 wires already, which one was only for the lights itself, and 2 wires were for the switches. If I was to keep adding more accessories, I would have to have more wires going through here, but now I'm gonna have only probably 2 wires. One is for the lights, one is for my new gauge, for where I can have 8 switches going through 1 wire. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove all of these switches because that's where I think I'm gonna install my new switch. I've seen some people install it somewhere over here or somewhere here, but I don't want to obstruct my view over here or anything. And over here, as you can see, it's getting already busy. Ignore this monitor for now. I have a video on that. It's coming out sometime soon. I'm still working on this, but this is gonna be something really cool. I hope you guys gonna like this one. The easiest way to remove these switches is with a little pry tool. Pry it from both sides, and that's it. There we go. Nice and easy. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna actually cut these wires over here from the previous relays and wiring. The ends that go to my accessories, I'm gonna cut it over here because we're still gonna reuse this partially. It's good to put labels on the wires so you know where they go. So this is my 4-inch lights, my 3-inch lights, and my light bar. So now I can go ahead and cut them. And that's it, there's no turning back. So now we can take all of these wires out. And just look at all that wire that we got rid of. It's a lot of wires. Of course, I'm gonna keep the relays and the fuses just in case as a backup. They should be still good. to keep it as a backup. And of course the switch I'm gonna keep, you never know what you're gonna need it for. So now I'm just trying to figure out how exactly and where exactly I'm gonna mount this box and how I'm gonna do all my wiring connection. So this is the one that's supposed to go to the positive terminal of the battery, which the cable is pretty long, so you can mount this unit anywhere inside your engine bay. I'm gonna go to my circuit breaker over here, so probably gonna hide this wire somewhere as well. Maybe we'll see. I also picked up, it's a 12 junction terminal for all my negatives, so all my negatives are gonna go here. So that's also, I'm gonna mount it somewhere nice and neat, maybe here. I think that's not too bad actually to mount it over here. Yeah, now that I'm thinking, but we'll see. I'm gonna run my controller wire, and I would recommend uncoil the wire and just work on it gently to make it straight. You don't want to have any nuts, kinks or anything, so as you pull you don't damage this wire. And also it doesn't matter which end goes where, both ends are the same, so you have no room for error. Now once again I'm gonna send my wire through this grommet over here in my firewall. I know this might not be the prettiest, but it actually works for me. And then I just push this grommet carefully back in place and it kind of secures it in there. So I'm gonna get the wire across inside, and then most of the slack I'm gonna actually pull inside. I'm just gonna leave just enough over there so we have less wires in here. There is our wire. Just gonna pull in it carefully through the firewall as much as I need, and then I'm gonna secure it over here. These two wires I cannot get rid of them, of course, because that's for my lights and this is for my new switch. So now I'm gonna put them all inside the wire loom and just hide it along the side here. It's gonna be a slow process, but we'll get there. Alright guys, I got my wire inside wire loom, so now I'm gonna just tug it away nicely again. I actually decided not to cut this wire. I'm just gonna coil it up nicely, probably gonna put it inside the wire loom and just hide it somewhere here. It's not gonna interfere with anything. And then this wire I'm gonna get it over here. I just coil it up and put it inside the double wire loom, and now I'm just gonna hide it somewhere here and get my wire to my terminals. That way, if I don't like this placement over here, I can always relocate it elsewhere. So after some time thinking around, I'm actually gonna install this distribution block over here as well, same way as I mounted this through, and it's been working great. So I'm gonna mount it over here. That way all my wire terminals are gonna be the same spot close by. So gonna make two holes and just secure it with the same two bolts. I'm also gonna work on my cables, the big power cables. I'm gonna make another little piece like this from here to here, and I'm gonna work on my negative cable from here to come over here. So once again I'm gonna use this 4-gauge wire, and for over here I just need a little piece, pretty much just from here to here, actually to here, and that should be more than enough. So I'm gonna cut it, put connectors in it. I apologize about all the noise and screaming, there is nothing I can do about that. I'm gonna cut it and crimp it. Now I'm just gonna put the terminal over the wire, and now I'm just gonna try to crimp it. Okay, I think it's working. Let's pull the wire, and it seems to be good in there. Alright, estimate how much I need, cut it, and do the same thing on the other end. Alright, the cable looks good, but now I'm also gonna heat shrink this. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now one more final touch to this cable. Alright, now this is perfect. I really like how this came out. So now I'm gonna do the same thing for the negative cable and gonna start wiring it. Alright, and my negative and positive cables are done. So now we can start wiring this all up. So the cable that's supposed to go to the negative terminal, I'm actually gonna cut it shorter. Since my distribution block is gonna be here, I'm gonna cut it shorter and put a new connector here. Now this red cable is supposed to go with the other fuse into the keyed fuse somewhere in your fuse box, if that makes any sense. So actually this cable I'm gonna get, and I'm actually gonna go in this box. If I'm not mistaken, 15 amp heated mirrors fuse, but I don't have heated mirrors on my truck. So what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna add this fuse in there, which has its own fuse for 5 amps, which is fine. And that way this unit and the switchboard will only be working when the truck is running, which I want. I don't want anybody just go and press any buttons and turn on my lights on. I'm gonna pull this 15 fuse out. I'm gonna put this one in there and gonna tie in into here. So now carefully gonna pull it out. There we go. So now I'm gonna stick it in here. This will still go in there. So I'm gonna leave some service slack on this wire. I can always just hide it inside on the side. Not a whole lot, but still. And I'm gonna cut it over here. There we go. Let's do a pull test, and it's good. All right. So now I can put this back inside here. Now this probably is not necessarily, but me just being me, I wrapped the entire cable in electrical tape. I on purpose made it very thick over here to create a extra artificial insulation. So this cable, in case it drops on something, which I doubt, it's not gonna get damaged or anything. So now once again, I can go and connect this back in the fuse spot, and now we can hide our cable in there and mount the collar. All right, and it fits no problem. It closes back up.
Much later.
All right guys, so as you can see, I pulled this thing out because the fuse I tapped into was not giving me the right function. It was not killing off the unit whenever I shut off the power. So actually what I did, I went to a different fuse, which is for the reverse lights, and now it's working properly. Actually I did it on purpose just to check if I can remove this unit in order to service my fuses. Yeah, but yeah, it's working now. And another thing, you have to change the dip switch settings on number 2, which is right there. You have to put it in on position in order for a keyed function to work properly. So whenever you turn off the truck, it's gonna kill the power on the unit. So now I can start mounting this in here. And the way I'm planning to mount it, actually I'm thinking to put 2 double stick tapes over here. Not double stick tape, but it's a stick tape with a Velcro on both sides. So I think it should hold it in place. I don't think it's gonna go anywhere, especially the wires all in there. If I ever need to work on this, I can always take it off. But I think it's gonna be fine. And this is gonna go just right here. So that should be fine. Gonna pull one here and a second one right here. So now I'm gonna peel the tape off from the other side. Okay. And let's glue it into position. Alright, hopefully it's gonna stay in there and never gonna come out. Now before I was able to mount these circuit breakers with these kind of bolts, but unfortunately now I cannot do that because first of all the holes are too far apart and there is nowhere to grab there, and this is gonna be sticking out. So actually what I'm gonna do, as you can see I took it apart, I'm gonna drill a holes in, and then I'm actually gonna use these longer little screws. They're the same diameter as the original ones, and I'm gonna try to screw it from the other side and hold it all in place. So let's see if that's gonna work out or not. Now we put this all back in place, and now I'm gonna try to screw it from the other side. Alright, and this is mounted and it's not going anywhere. Nice. So let's connect our positive cable that's actually going to our box over here. As you can see, I also put a shrink wrap around it just to be consistent. And let's put it over here. Okay. So now I can connect my jumper cable between here to here for my power. Alright, the cables are in place. This is really coming out good. I really like how it's coming out. So now I can start separating the wires and bringing them inside for interconnection for my positive over here, and all the negatives are gonna go here. We also can connect our cable coming from the inside, from the controller, and this goes only one way. There is a little groove in here, and as you can see there is also a little gasket over here, so that's gonna create a watertight connection. That, and then let's screw the security lock in. So now I'm gonna estimate how much of this my negative cable, the ground cable I need coming from the switch box, which I'm gonna run behind, and it's actually gonna go to one of those terminals on the side. So this is gonna be more than enough. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna double it up like that to leave some slack, which is gonna be behind, and then I'm gonna cut it over here, put a connector, and we're gonna splice it over here. So once again I put this wire inside the wire loom, so this is gonna come over here, which looks perfect. Now let's do a pull test. and it's good. Alright, this looks pretty good. So now I'm just gonna hide the wire inside there. Let's take our first bolt out, put a wire there, and screw it in place. Let's see if the cover still closes. Perfect. I'm gonna wire up all my 4 switches over here because I have 4 devices. I have these 4-inch pod lights that comes with the day running light, which is on a yellow cable. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna wire up my yellow cable first over here. That's gonna be my switch number 1 for day running light. My switch number 2 is gonna be this cable. It's gonna be to turn on the lights itself. The black cable is gonna go to the negative. Then I'm gonna wire up my amber lights. And once again, the red cable is gonna go over here on terminal 3, and the black cable is gonna go over there on the block. And then I have my light bar. This is my negative for light bar. And actually I use 2 cables over here for the light bar, but there is no need. So I'm gonna connect only one, and I'm gonna disconnect the second wire at the light bar. That way I have a spare wire going up to the roof. So if I wanna put the rear lights, I already have a wire up on the roof, and then the negative is just going to be tied into the frame. So that's my plan. So now just simply by unscrewing this is all sealed in here, so we can take out these little pins and push the wire in there. The water is never gonna go in there. So I'm gonna do that right now. Carefully organize these wires once again, and we're pretty much done here. There's my yellow, which is my day running lights. Then the red one, which is the main light. Then the other red one, which is my amber lights, and the blue one, which is gonna be my light bar, and the brown is gonna be my spare going to the roof. So now we just provided connectors. I'm gonna put connectors on all of them and tie into the right terminals. All right, as always, do a pull test, and it sits good there. So all the connections are done. So now I'm just gonna tie in the right order. All right, this is done. So now I can secure this plug over here. So let's finish up working over here, connecting all the negative cables to the terminals over here, and then we're gonna work inside. So now I'm just gonna estimate how much wire I need. I'm gonna cut them shorter and start putting the connectors on them. So now I'm gonna repeat the process for the remaining wires, and all 3 wires are connected. I just have to organize them, hide them a little bit, probably gonna put a wire loom around it, but now I can work on getting my negative cable in here. I'm gonna have to sacrifice one of the terminals over here, which is no big deal. This is a 12 port because I want my cable to go like this. So now I'm gonna connect this cable over here and guide it to my negative battery over here. So I actually had to put a washer over there to space it out because of the way this terminal is bent in, but it's gonna be all right. So now I'm just gonna make it tight. So now this is gonna be over here, and this is gonna go to the battery. Nice. Now this terminal, I'm gonna slide it inside here. So as I tighten in the battery, it's gonna get secured in there. Now I also added labels over here for my relays. So in case I forget which relay is for what, now I know that the relay 1 and terminal 1, of course, is a day running light. Terminal 2, relay 2 is my 4-inch lights. Relay 3 is my 3-inch fog lights, my amber lights, and relay 4 is my 42-inch light bar. So that's always good to have information. The controller itself, I'm thinking to mount it over here like that. So that way I'm gonna cover all these knockouts over here. And I think this is a good place. So right now I just remove one bolt over here, and then the whole thing over here just pops out. So that's even better, that's even easier. So this is gonna give me a lot of room and to see where I'm gonna mount it, which probably gonna be like this. So now I'm gonna take it completely out probably, and start making some more holes. There we go. Let's see if I can take the whole thing out without breaking it. Now my wire is supposed to be over here, but drilling all of this, there is a lot of plastic. So what I'm actually thinking to do, to make a channel over here, so the wire is just gonna go in there and should be fine. Alright, let's take a look. So my plan is just to send it in there like that, and I need to cut more. Let's try it again. Maybe something like this, all the way at the edge. Perfect. So I mark where I need to drill for the holes over here. I know, I hope you guys can see it. And the way I did it, I just simply put these studs that it came with, and I pretty much align it over there where it's supposed to go. And then I just moved it tiny bit to accommodate for the diameter of the screw, and that's where I marked it. so I might gonna have to enlarge it slightly or not, but I think they're gonna be alright. Alright, and the holes are through. The top hole over here, first I drill with a small drill bit just to make sure I clear it, and I do clear this. Now the good thing that it comes with a lot of different hardware. To secure it over here, I'm actually gonna use 2 bolts that were holding the bracket over here previously. So I'm just gonna put them in place. Alright, I think it's working out, guys. The holes I made there, I think it's working out pretty good. Alright, let's take a look. Nice, looks pretty good. And this is done. What I did, I used one of these brackets provided just to space it out, and with a long bolt I screw it over here, so that's pretty good. So now let's go put this back in place. So now before I put this back in place, I'm gonna connect my wire over here. There you go. And let's screw this as well. Now I'm gonna push this back in, and once this is in place, I can secure the wire. Don't forget to plug in your controller over here. Alright, so I actually cannot put this inside there, because as I make it tight, it doesn't make it any tighter. So actually what I'm thinking to do, I'm gonna change this terminal, because I have this negative terminal. I bought it the same time as I bought the positive one. I just never changed it. So what I'm thinking to do, actually, I'm gonna cut this over here, make this hole slightly bigger to put over the bolt, and that's gonna be my new connection. I think it's gonna be better than having this. Alright guys, I think we're all done. Everything is connected, everything is finished. So as you can see, I replaced my battery terminal as well. I really wanted to do this stuff for a long time anyways. So now let's just connect this and make sure everything is working fine. Alright, so now I'm just gonna turn this breaker on, and this should get power. So far so good. I don't see any smoke, so that's a good sign. Now it also comes with a lot of labels, so you can label whatever you want. You have so many labels over here for everything, and even some blanks over here. Since I have nothing wired up to these 4, I'm gonna blank them out. Just gonna put the blanks in here to make it look nicer, and now I'm gonna put my appropriate labels over here, and then we're gonna test. Alright guys, finally everything is done. The Voswitch is installed, wired up, and the panel is connected. So now let's test it. I really like how this panel came out. It's very small, but yet it fits 8 switches in here. I don't have to worry about where I'm gonna put my next switch and everything. So this is the labels that I put, and these are blanked out for now. So now let's test it. If I try to turn it on, nothing happens. That's what we wanted, because you don't want to accidentally leave the truck parked and some lights or some accessory running and draining the battery. So now I'm gonna start the truck and we're gonna test it again. Alright, so let's see if I try to turn it on. Hard to see it with the sun right now, but if you can see, I have a blue light over here, so it's running. So let's see if I put this light on, which my day running lights, and they're working. Nice. So now I'm gonna try to turn the main light on, which I label as a spotlight. Nice, and they're working too. So now my amber or fog lights, amazing, they're working as well. I like it. So now the last is the light bar, which I have it over here, marked as front. Perfect, and the light bar is working as well. So there's 4 functions for these switches. You have a regular on and off, you have a memory setting, you have a flash, and a strobe. In order to access the flash and the strobe, you have to just double press it, and it will cycle through the flash and a strobe. So now as you can see, all the lights, everything is on. So let's see what happens if I turn off the truck. Let's turn it off, and already you can see that the controller shut off and all the lights are off. Nice, so it's working properly. I'm happy. I'm very happy about this unit. I'm very glad this company sent me this unit to test it out and install. I really wanted to do something like this. As you saw, I had some already parts picked up to try to build something similar, but it will never come out as good as this one. I really like how everything came out, and now I have more options to connect more stuff in there. Actually, I have something more I'm gonna be wiring up soon, so I'm gonna be using that already. This was something that I really wanted to do for quite some time, to take care of all that wiring. and now it's all done. As always, I'm gonna leave all the links in the description to most of the stuff that I use, and I'm gonna try to put a discount code as soon as possible, but if it's not there in the description yet, please come back later. I will get the code and I will post it in there. So feel free to check out that unit for yourself. It's really worth it. Little bit extra, but it's really worth it. And I'm not just saying it because I got this unit to test, but I really like the quality of this unit compared to all the other stuff that I saw online. So on this note, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you might find it helpful. And as always, until next time, everybody, bye.